Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog, where we discuss activity that goes on here with the BuzWeaver channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue. If this is your very first time here, welcome. To all of you on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, I want to thank all of you guys, and of course everyone here on YouTube, for all of your guys' continued support.
We start things off from the New York Post from Saturday, March the 26th. House Republicans will subpoena Hunter Biden. That's right. Interesting, isn't it? If the GOP retakes control of Congress, Hunter Biden will be hauled before the House of Representatives and forced to reveal the identity of the big guy and address other unanswered questions about the contents of his infamous laptop, Republicans said. "We will subpoena Hunter Biden," said House GOP Conference Chair Elise Stefanik bluntly in an interview with The Post. Hunter Biden, 52, abandoned his laptop at a Delaware computer repair shop in April 2019, as opposed to ship. Far be it from me to be correcting words, but there you have it. The hard drive contained years worth of emails, texts, legal documents, and photos detailing Hunter's prolific international business ventures. That's a very delicate way of putting that. Shop owner John Paul Mac Isaac gave the hard drive to the FBI and eventually offered a copy to former Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani. The former mayor ultimately handed it over to The Post, which published an expose a month before the 2020 presidential election. The story of the laptop was falsely dismissed, but much of the media as dismissed by much of the media as Russian propaganda and censored on Facebook and Twitter at the behest of the Democratic Party. And of course, this is yet another example. Now, I couldn't care less about Hunter Biden or his activities or what he has done. It is clear that he was involved in a lot of nefarious activities when his father was vice president. And I can't say that it is a systematic problem that is typical of all Democrats, because that would be a very biased statement on my part. So even though I am biased, I do recognize that obviously this was Hunter acting on his own. However, it does include his father, so there is elements of implementing his dad into this situation. So it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens from this. Now, as we always say, you give the left an inch, they take a mile. You give the Republicans a mile, and they take an inch. So we'll see just how far the Republicans are willing to go, because they're just as much a part of the establishment as the Democrats. That's why I left the Republican Party in 2004, because I saw the writing on the wall long time ago. Hunter Biden laptop material entered into congressional record. So now it is officially entered. So despite what the media says, it's now entered into record. But here's the thing. As you guys know, as we have talked about many times, the Democrats, working alongside the mainstream media, activists, special interests, and tech giants, all ensured that this was not going to affect the election whatsoever. Because, of course, as we have talked about, and is continuing to be confirmed, that the left did, in fact, engage in what would be called voter interference. Now, that's a very hyperbolic statement, I know, but I think it's very fair to say that it is very apparent and very obvious that this is happening. It's now an official matter of record. Material from Hunter Biden's infamous laptop was entered into the congressional record on Tuesday at the request of Republican Matt Gaetz. So here we have it entered into the record. The question is going to be, how much of this is going to be covered by, say, mainstream media? How much of this is the Republican, or how much of this are the Republicans going to bring up in discussions and leading up to the midterms? Because the midterms, of course, are this year for all of you guys watching as foreigners here on the BuzWeaver channel. Of course, we take the difficult and the complicated and try to make it as simple as possible. But to confirm what I said a moment ago from the Chattanooga Times Free Press, as we have talked about here in a previous video, Cooper, 1 in 6 Biden voters would have changed their minds if they had known the full story. And that's exactly it. And so here we have the evidence to support exactly what we had been saying, what President Trump had been saying up until the election. And of course, as we know, this was all suppressed, even among the tech giants and, of course, the mainstream media. So if you talked about it, you could be demonetized, you could be suspended, you could be banned from Twitter, you could be banned from Facebook, you could be completely removed. But now we know it is absolutely 100% verifiable and true. I didn't look to see if there was any pictures here because believe me, guys, you do not want to see the pictures, blurred or not, that were on his laptop. But it's now been entered into record. And here's Matt Gaetz. He's always being criticized on Twitter, of course. But and this is the guy who has the shop, computer shop. Okay, well, I did. Well, that's one of the few. That's one of the few that I had to subject you guys to, because if I have to see it, you guys have to see it too. But nonetheless, it is interesting to see. Now, from Kim.com, you probably haven't heard from Kim in quite some time. He says here, the GOP has a 6-point lead to win the House in the midterms. With the bad economy, GOP may win. There was a trending comment over here on the side over here. It was AOC saying the Democrats are in trouble. Well, I think the left and the progressives are probably more in trouble than the Democrats are in. But that's something that we'll see change, because I know, like Kim is saying here, I don't know whether he's excited or even cares about what's going to actually happen, outside of the fact that he says, or I'll continue, you'll get House investigation into Hunter Biden's business dealings, how much big guy was paid, biolabs in Ukraine, Hillary funding, the Steele dossier, and Russiagate, unless nukes. So he's kind of implying that the war is still active and still going on, and it may require a little bit more of a heavy-handed approach by Russia, to put it mildly, for there to be a distraction, or a big enough distraction, to hide what is going to happen with Hunter Biden's laptop, because he is correct. It's quite possible that if the Republicans do win the House and the Senate, which it is projected to do right now based upon polling and everything, which I don't always trust. You guys know I'm very fickle about polling unless it's aggregated. And I did see the aggregate in Real Clear Politics, so it is true the Republicans are 6 points ahead. But I have little faith in the Republican Party as well, just as much as I have little faith in the Democrat Party. But we can already see what's happening. So it is stunning to me when I'm on Twitter and still see individuals who actually believe that Biden is actually accomplishing things and helping this country. It's absolutely insane, but this is bias. This is about people's feelings, particularly when it comes to the Democrats. So, of course, they're not going to come out and just dump their guy, although a lot of things are leaning that way. And as you guys know, as we talk about here often, when it comes to the Democrats, it is all about popularity. Popularity is their highest virtue. It is how they relate to society, because if it's popular, then it's acceptable. People like it. They approve of it. And, of course, that gives them the credence to continue on, despite the fact that it could be completely fabricated and false. But that's okay, because it's all about the feelings. It's all about the popularity. It's all about what they can do to garnish and maintain their power. So we will keep an eye on this, of course, but I just wanted to share some of these key points here that as of Saturday of last week, of course, the House Republicans subpoenaed the laptop and then entered it into record, and we'll see how far they're willing to go. But my main point here is, of course, if people actually knew about all this, then maybe it would have changed the outcome of the election. And then, of course, you have all of the concerns about voting, voter ID, and those sorts of things that they're going to be continuing. So trust me, despite what Kim says here, the Democrats are going to probably wait till nearly the last minute to spring whatever it is they're going to do. They're going to go with the Capital Six again. They're already going after Clarence Thomas's wife. They're going to find some way. They're going to find something that they can throw out there in the mainstream media and get their ilk to post it on social media, spread it around like they did, or as they do, to be able to make Donald Trump or the Republicans look bad. So we'll just keep an eye on all this for you, and that's what I had for you this week.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. And, of course, below this video, you can find the various social media sites that I belong to, where you can follow me and see my daily post. But I do want to thank all of you guys on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. I know YouTube gets so much attention, but you guys are equally as important to the whole entire channel and the whole idea of what we're working towards here in 2022. So thanks to all of you guys for your continued support. And for you guys on YouTube right now, that would be the channel icon appearing right there on the screen to subscribe, as well as clicking on that to get notifications so you'll know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys right there behind that camera next week.